Hello and welcome everyone, it is me, TheLaval, also known as the Power To-Do List, back for you with another video. And today I will be, kind of showcasing a very cool deck that I've been having a lot of fun with in the last couple of weeks, testing this and playing this with the new cards from Lightning Overdrive, Domain Monarchs. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off the main deck are 3 copies of Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. On Tribute Summon, this guy lets you send 2 Monarch spells and traps from your deck to the graveyard to take a card out of your opponent's hand or their graveyard or from their field and shuffle that back into their deck. Definitely something great turn 1 to keep your opponent's resources a bit slimmer, since, starting with 5 cards instead of 6 going second, or in any way, shape, or form, just losing a card is definitely really, really powerful and makes Erebus a great tool for the deck. Also, while he's in the grave, you can discard a Monarch spell trap and add a Monarch from graveyard to hand, or rather a monster with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense. But I think from now on, I'll be just referring to that as a Monarch, essentially, since those are the targets you mostly want to add of this, unless you're playing Terra, King, Salmon, Monarchs, I guess. But yeah, his counterpart is Aether, the Heavenly Monarch. Also on Tribute Summon, you can send 2 Monarch spells and traps from your deck to the graveyard, but instead you can summon a Monarch from the deck. Definitely gives you a good amount of accessibility, not only for further copies of Aether or Erebus himself. Also, kind of enables you to cycle for some one-off Monarchs that I am running for, that extra bit of kind of toolboxiness. But yeah, the even greater part about Aether is that you can banish a Monarch spell and trap from your graveyard during either player's turn, or during your opponent's main phase, rather, and Tribute Summon him. This is a quick effect, which, easily enables him to also, Stormfall, tribute one of your opponent's monsters for him, or, just have that bit of interruption, which is really great, but more on that when we get to Stormfall. Unlike the 2 Monarchs I play for the toolboxiness, I play a copy of Caius for, a nice banish for, some destruction protected monsters, to get rid of some threats. Even if this deck doesn't really struggle with outing the toughest of boards, since Monarchs Stormfall is a very good card, and also a copy of Mobius for some more back row heavy decks. So yeah, those are like, 2 Monarch slots I like to run for, some extra effect access. You can probably run others in this spot. Curus is definitely a great option, gives you a bit more interruption in combination with Aether. Then Aether's Vessel, Idea, the Heavenly Squire. If she is normal or special, you can summon a monster with 800 attack or 1000 defense, or a Vessel, as I'll be referring it to from now on, from your deck in defense, which, gives you easy access to Eidos for that additional tribute summon. And when she is sent from the field to the graveyard, not when she's tributed for a tribute summon, I found that out during testing only. But yeah, you can add a banished Monarch spell and trap from your banished zone to your hand, which is really great and gives this deck just so much recursion and such a great grind game. Because, just drawing into any idea, any way to, Monarch, to be able to establish something in a way, which is really great, to be honest, because this deck doesn't need much to put up a fight. The problem is it just needs very specific stuff to put up a fight, which kind of, results in this big meme of the deck being a bit bricky. But yeah, Idea's counterpart in Eidos, the Underworld Squire. If he is summoned, as mentioned, you get an additional tribute summon per turn, which easily makes you able to normal summon Idea, special Eidos, get that additional tribute summon for your Erebus or Aether, which is probably where you want to be with this deck. Also, you can banish Eidos from the graveyard to special summon one of your vessels back to the field, triggering Idea again, getting into, another Eidos from the deck, and being able to tribute summon for a Monarch again. definitely a great card and really helps with bringing out your bigger boys. Then I am on 2, Mithra the Thunder Vessel. You can special summon her from your hand, but your opponent gets a Vessel token with the exact Vessel stat line. And if she is tributed for a tribute summon, you gain an additional tribute summon that turn, which, gives you just a bit more tribute summons, a bit more, bodies on board for tribute summons. So she's definitely great. Also, if you run out of your Idos in a very long game, you can just summon a Mithra of your Idea, which is also kind of great. So yeah, she is definitely good to have, but you could probably also, as mentioned, run maybe some more Monarchs in her place, as this deck definitely is a bit flexible in ratios. And then one of the new cards that are just so amazing for the deck, a playset of Anchamoufrite. Why a Pendulum monster? Well, when you put this guy into your Pendulum zone, you can pop him if you have no cards in your extra deck and draw a card, which is really great. Just an upstart goblin, helps you dig into your deck, and while he's the only card in your extra deck, or rather your extra deck only contains copies of himself, you can special summon him, which also gives you, free tribute material, which is great. And if he leaves the field after being summoned by his own effect, he gets banished, which keeps your extra deck clear to keep your domain lock live, which is really nice and something I definitely really appreciate about this card. Then, just one more new card in Proof of Pruflas. If you control no special summon monsters, you can special summon this guy from your hand, and if he is summoned, you can immediately, after that effect resolves, tribute summon a monster. Either just normal summoning him, and then, going into some further plays, or, just a Monarch is definitely a great option. Just another Vessel and something that helps to get to your, big guys. Then getting into the one-off spells, we play the Terraforming to grab, Domain of the True Monarchs. Additional ways to get a domain are always great, especially in, deck thinning form, which is why, Terraforming is an easy inclusion. Then we play 1 reinforcement of the army, since Idea happens to be a warrior. And Idea also happens to be level 1, which is why we play the 1-for-1 to go along with her. So yeah, those are your one-offs. Probably would run more if you could, but, most of the stuff is readily accessible, mainly this card, Domain of the True Monarchs. The big reason why this deck used to be so oppressive post-Monarch structure deck and still can feel very, very, very oppressive nowadays. Because as long as you have no cards in the extra deck, which is, why the Anchamoufrite part is important, and you are the only person to control a tribute summon monster, your opponent cannot summon from the extra deck, which is such a powerful effect, which is the reason why people just hate Artifact Scythe, since not being able to access the extra deck in a, year in time where the extra deck is more and more important feels just really oppressive and is able to lock so many decks out of, just completely doing anything at this point, because most decks don't run that big a main deck monsters anymore, which is why Monarchs can really pack a punch. Also, you can, reveal a monster with you can reveal a Monarch, one of the bigger ones at that. It needs to be 2800 and 1000. From your hand, reduce that monster's level by 2 for the turn, which definitely makes those guys easier to get on the board. And also, if a tribute summoned monster you control attacks, it gains an additional 800 attack points, which makes your already big Monarchs just, able to get over that much more monsters. Which is great. Domain definitely is like the one card that keeps a lot of this deck going, or makes it as good and oppressive as it can be. Yeah. Playing 3 Pantheism. This card is absolutely amazing, and the thing I adore almost the most about this is the art, because I really like this contrast between, Erebus and Ether. You can discard a Monarch spell and trap to draw 2 cards, which is already a great effect. You know, additional draw power is definitely something that a deck like this that plays a lot of, you know, hefty bricks appreciates. But you can also banish this from the graveyard to take 3 Monarch spells and traps from your deck, show them to your opponent, and your opponent adds 1 to your hand. Great effect, helps you grab, you know, Stormfall, Domain, and everything else. You mostly want to, if you didn't draw into it, you can send this off Erebus or Aether's effect when you summon them to guarantee yourself a domain search, which in most cases is, you know, the reason why opening a way to get to Aether or Erebus and one of the two also enables you to domain lock, and the rest of your hand is kind of, you know, just stuff you can put alongside those guys, which makes this deck really flexible, I think, and probably one of the reasons why I'm definitely going to experiment a bit with it in the future. But yeah, I've been having a blast with this absolutely in the last couple of weeks. And this card was also a big part in this, Tenacity of the Monarchs. Show your opponent a Monarch in your hand, and then you can add a Monarch spell and trap from your deck to your hand. Great card, easily searches your important combo pieces once you have thinned out the playsets a bit with your Pantheism, or, you know, just because you drew them. So yeah, Tenacity, absolutely amazing card. Nothing more to be said. Absolutely great. Yeah, then I am playing 3. The Monarchs Storm 4th. During the turn you activate this card, you can tribute one of your opponent's monsters for a tribute summon, as if you would control that monster. Quick play spell, as mentioned, enables you to, you know, tribute one of your opponent's monsters with Aether's quick effect, tribute summon effect. On that turn, definitely gives you a good interruption, since, you know, this deck doesn't run Curious. So this is kind of your way to kind of throw a stick into your opponent's place. But yeah, just otherwise also a great card going second to out some more powerful and tough to out monsters. Great card just in general. Really helps a lot, which is why I am on 3. And then capping off the spell lineup is 1 March of the Monarchs. Most of the Monarch cards that lock you out of summoning from the extra deck, like March, kind of get a bit weird sometimes with Anchamoufrite, but March is definitely a one-off I like to include because it protects your tribute summoned monsters from being targeted by your opponent's card effects and also from destruction by card effects. Which is really great. It just prevents you from summoning from the extra deck, so you definitely keep that in mind when you're playing with your Anchamoufrites. So yeah, great card. Additional bit of protection. Helps your Monarchs to stick around that much longer. Since, you know, when you summon them, they're kind of just big. Then I play 3 Prime Monarch. This is mostly, you know, just additional discard fodder for Pantheism. And I also like the on-field effect of being able to once per turn target 2 Monarch spells and traps in your grave, shuffle them into the deck, draw a card. Gives you a great bit of recursion in this deck and also enables you to have like a really nice grind game because you gain you continuously just gain additional resources. Also, you can banish this from the graveyard. You can banish another Monarch spell and trap from your graveyard while you have this in your graveyard. To special summon it in defense as a 1200 monster. Additional tribute material, discarding this of Pantheism. Mostly will net you already a tribute material on the board for your Monarchs. So yeah, great card. I really like it. And then just, you know, capping off the main deck is a copy of Metaverse. Additional ways to get to domain are always appreciated, since then you can use your Tenacity or Pantheism searches on other cards. And also, you know, the neat thing about Metaverse is that it is a trap. And if your domain gets popped, you can flip the Metaverse and get the domain lock back up, which is what, you know, kind of keeps this deck going and is your main win condition. Yeah, this has been my Monarch deck profile. As mentioned multiple times, ratios are definitely very flexible with this deck, because at some point, if you get past, you know, Erebus Aether and your Idas and Idea, I would definitely advise on running the Anchamoufrites. Pantheism, Tenacity, Domain, and Stormfall are kind of also, you know, some must includes, but otherwise you are very flexible with this deck, which is also something that I really like and makes me very happy to, you know, look forward on what I can do with this in the future. But yeah, this has been, the just pure rundown of what my current domain Monarch list looks like. As mentioned, I have been having a blast playing this deck in the last weeks. So yeah, let me know what you think of this list in the comments down below, and I will thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I will see you guys again next time. But until then, goodbye.